Hey everyone, it's Delaney, Senior Inbound Marketing Specialist at Hivehouse Digital. Today, I'll be walking you through how to create a chatbot in HubSpot. Navigate to Conversations and select Chat Flows from the drop-down menu. Then click on Create Chat Flow. You can choose if you want this on your website or Facebook Messenger. If you're hosting this on your website that is not hosted by HubSpot, you'll want to make sure that the HubSpot tracking code is installed on your website. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to just click on website and we're going to do a really simple chatbot. So on the next screen, you have your options. So there are lots of different templates. You also have the option to create a live chat, but since we're talking about bots, we're going to do that. So then you have your different bots, and these are just different templates you can start out with. So the concierge bot will give your users different actions they can take, and that will help you better send them to either sales or your service team. You also have the qualify leads bot, which is going to ask them questions before passing visitors to your team. You also have a meetings bot, a tickets bot, a knowledge base bot, if you have that on your website. You also have an offline bot, so they can support visitors when your team is not working. And then you can always start from scratch and create a bot that just whatever you need it to do. So for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to keep it pretty simple, and we're going to do a qualify leads bot because pretty much most websites, you're going to want to qualify the leads before they get sent to your sales team. So we're going to click on the qualified leads bot, click on next. So when you set up your HubSpot, you probably already created an inbox. If you didn't, we will link resources down below on how to create an inbox. But for this, we're going to want to choose chat and then select your language if it is not already defaulting to the language you want this bot in. Then click create. So this page should be pretty familiar to you if you're familiar with workflows. Very, very similar functionality. Very, very easy to use. We're going to take you through the different steps of this template and how you can modify it to better suit your needs. So starting out, you're going to want to name your chat flow. Let's just go with tech tip example. Then you're always going to have a welcome message. So you want to start your chat flow with a welcome message, of course. So the default is got any questions? I'm happy to help. You can always just click on this and change it. It will show you how it'll appear in the chatbot. I'm going to keep it now for the purposes of this tutorial, but if you want to update this messaging to your brand voice and tone, this is a great spot to start. Then it's going to ask, what would you like to do? So there's learn about products or learn about pricing. This is going to help your sales team determine where this contact is in the funnel. Are they just kind of exploring, or are they kind of ready to have that money conversation? So learn about products, learn about pricing, learn about something else. It's always good to just have that default backup option. And so if you click on it, you can always change the message. So maybe you want to ask, how can we help you? And then let's say maybe you don't sell products. Let's just delete that and we'll say, learn about services. You can also disable open responses. So an open response will allow the user to kind of free type. It won't have these predetermined options. You also have the option to save it to a HubSpot property. And for this one, I don't find the need to save this to a property. So we're going to go ahead and click save. So the next question is number of employees. So this is something you can keep if that's an important piece of information to gather right here. For me, I think I want to change this and ask a different question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to say persona. I want to find out more about their background and their industry. So we're going to say, no problem. Before we get started, I need to collect some basic company information. First up, can you please describe your role? And then right now, this is set up to save to a HubSpot property. So what I'm going to do is click on it. I'm going to search for persona. And now it updates the quick replies with our persona information. So we've got job applicants, we've got CEOs, we've got director or VPs. So this has all of the quick replies we'd want to know. So, and they all correlate with one of our personas. So Now that we have this updated, we're going to go ahead and click Save. Now, the next question is getting into the contact information, like their name and email, but let's say you have something else you want to collect before this. So all you have to do is click the plus button, and you have a bunch of different options. So there's anything from sending just a message, not asking a question, asking a question. If then branches, that would make maybe a more detailed chat flow. You also have contact property values, submitting tickets, booking meetings. Lots of different options for adding to your chat flow, but to keep this simple, we're going to just ask another question. And so you can ask a custom question, and then it also has frequently used. I want to collect another property, so I'm going to click on that one. And this is going to be called Marketing Challenge. We're going to say, can you tell me a little bit about your company's marketing challenges? And then I have this already saved as a HubSpot property, so I'm just going to search for Marketing Challenge, click on it, and once again, those quick replies are automatically populated. So I'm happy with all of these. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And so you can kind of see here for both Persona and Marketing Challenge, how the viewer will see this is they'll see the question, and then there's a drop down for them to select. Now scrolling down, we've got our Persona, our Marketing Challenge. Now we want to get their contact information so we can save them into HubSpot. So there's always going to be a default language. You can go ahead and change that to match your voice and tone. You're going to collect their name and your email, or their email. And those are probably the two basic ones you're going to want to get. If phone numbers are really important to your sales team, you might want to get this now, but you really want to balance the line of asking the information that you want to get to qualify them, but you also don't want to ask too many questions that they just kind of stop the chat flow and don't return. So you kind of want to balance that. It's a fine line. So once you get their name and email, you can go ahead and send them to a team member. So right now it's set to no one. So all you have to do is click on the button and you can assign it to someone. So we can either do contact owner, and then if there's not a contact owner, maybe they're a new contact, you can choose who it should go to. So you can choose a specific user or team. You can choose a team, or you can choose a specific user. So for this, we're just going to say it's going to go to me. And then if a team member is available, it will tell them that a specialist will look after them from there, and they should get a message shortly. If a team member is away, it will alert them that no one's online right now, but a specialist will email them back when they're back online. And then you can always have a backup if they're unassigned, that it will be passed to a member of the team. So if you don't want to have it automatically go to the contact owner, you can always just choose a specific user and team and choose a specific user or team. So I'm going to keep it like this. If they already have a contact owner, they should go to the contact owner. And so I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And I have created the chat flow. So this one is just a very simple one. You can definitely make more complicated chat flows, but this is just a really basic lead qualifying chat flow. So now that you have your chat flow built, let's go ahead and go to the Target tab. And this is going to be where you can determine where this chat flow will live. So the default is going to say all of your pages. And if you don't want it on all of your pages, this is where you will change it up. Let's say you want it on all of your pages, but you want to exclude it from certain pages. So let's say add an exclusion rule. Maybe we want to hide it when it contains the word blog. We don't want this on our blog pages. We just kind of want it on our services pages, our home pages, pricing pages, things like that. We can go ahead and add that exclusion rule. And then lastly on this targeting page is visitor information. So this allows you to add filters so you can kind of have more control over who sees it. So if you don't want it shown to a very broad audience, you can kind of segment it down further. So there's a bunch of different options. You can add lists, so it only shows to certain lists, device type, country, CTA clicks, forum view, session counts, pages visited. So maybe you want this to show to people who have visited your pricing page already. So let's say hivehouseDigital.com/pricing. So this will only show to people who have already seen your pricing page. You don't have to add these. This kind of restricts how many people see your chat flow. But if you want something that's more broad and basic like this one, you don't have to add a visitor filter. So next up, let's go to the display tab, and this is going to help you customize how this looks on your website. So the first one is choosing chat avatar. So the default is the HubSpot robot, and the heading is HubBot. So you can change this to maybe your company logo and a chat name that's more related to your brand. And then chat display behavior. So you can choose different things based on desktop or mobile. So on desktop, the default is pop open the welcome message as a prompt, but maybe on mobile, you don't want the message to show up as a prompt because it's taking up a lot of real estate on your page. So you can say only show the chat launcher. So people will see that icon, but it won't take up so much space with the welcome message. And then we can go back, and then you can also decide how it will appear. So you can either do exit intent, if they've been on the page for a certain amount of time, or if they scrolled a certain amount of the page, or if you don't click on any of these, it will show up 24/7. So I think for this one, I'm going to go ahead and do time on page for 7 seconds. Go ahead and click save. So next up and lastly is the options tab. So you have a couple different things on here. So we have typing delay between messages. So the time based on the length of the message. You also can do a slight delay. I usually just leave it to delay based on length of message. Session timeout. So that is going to restart the chat after a certain time of inactivity. Then you have your generic error message. So this is a bot. So if there's any ever technical errors, this is the message that will show up. So that there's the default, but you can always update this messaging. Again, you have your language. You can also set the availability. So if you only want it available during business hours, you can go ahead and do that here, but you can also turn it on 24/7 if that's what you prefer. And then you have the cookies and GDPR if you need to turn those on. And then if you have a Service Hub, you can always set feedback surveys from chat visitors to get a better understanding of how they felt that the chat conversation went. So you can always set that up there. And finally, you want to preview your chatbot. So click on preview at the top, and this will give you a chance to experience the chatbot in real time and how the different actions will work. Now, this is a pretty straightforward bot, but this is especially important if you're making a very complicated chatbot with a lot of if-then branches and things like that. But you can go ahead and say, I want to learn about services. Then the HubBot is going to be thinking what it's going to ask. And then now it's asking that persona question we created. So I can go ahead and select one, click done, and then it'll ask the next question. So it's just a way for you to experience the chatbot before you put it live on your site. So once you're done with that, you can go ahead and turn it on, and you are all set. You have officially created your chatbot. So one last thing to go over, and that is priority. So the chatbots are going to show in a level of priority. So say your contact matches to, or let's say in this scenario, they match with both of our chats. It's going to show the one that is the highest priority over the one that's lower priority. So let's say that this tech tip example chatbot is live on our site. It's going to actually just show the basic chat because that is the level 1 priority. If we want this chatbot to be the #1 chatbot, we're going to drag and drop and lift it above. And now that is priority #1. So that is one thing you want to consider anytime you make a chatbot is where is it on the priority list. So that is all the basic information you need to know about creating a simple chatbot in HubSpot. I really hope this was helpful. Leave any questions down below in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on our next tech tip.